Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to 2021. My name's Matt, and this is the first JaYoe conversation of the new year. This conversation is going to revolve around an attack on me, yet again, for trying to talk positive about positive things, and in the process smearing otherwise good people to get the job done. I'm actually in Ningbo right now. Behind me is Dongshan Lake. It is a beautiful lake. It's a bit of a hazy day, a little chilly, but I don't need to wear a hat, so it's good. So let's get into it. A lot of times, the recent attacks on me have taken place because they want to join me to the Chinese government. They either say I'm a shill, or somehow I'm duped and an idiot, or I'm dealing with people that I don't realize are connected to the government. And in those connections, it invalidates my entire story. If I was talking about how nice a city was because I was talking to somebody who was involved in government, it wasn't that nice. If I went to a place that had recently gotten over flooding, it wasn't, me showing how they recovered. It was me covering up for how horrible it was. And if I go to a place and show a place that's growing a massive amount of vegetables in an otherwise arid part of the country, just so happens that I'm talking to somebody from the government, the whole story is invalidated. And I'm a pawn, a useless pawn, intermingled with horrible, nefarious deeds of the Chinese Communist Party. And I'm really tired of it. It's really, really dumb. I really hate that I even have to make this video. But if I don't make this video, the arguments against me stand, and my argument is never made. So I have to make these videos so that I can stand up and stick up for myself, because otherwise you're just going to hear the loudest, dumbest voices in the room that feel like they know everything about everything. And the guy that was actually there, that experienced it, is an unwitting fool, unless he was able to convince you otherwise. So let me try to convince you otherwise. This is a second video I've made on this topic, but it is a second type of topic. It's not necessarily the same argument. I went to a village in Shanxi, outside of Xi'an. The village was called Hecun. And when I went there, we were supposed to be introduced to the farmland. There was like 3,000 greenhouses that had been erected there to turn otherwise arid ground into fertile ground that could be farmed and supply vegetables for the surrounding areas, the surrounding provinces even. Like, good job this area was doing to turn land that couldn't farm into farmland. They were growing cucumbers and peppers and celery and all sorts of tomatoes and really tasty stuff. All organic. They weren't using chemicals. It was kind of the niche of the area that they were growing in otherwise arid land using techniques that didn't harm the land itself. Good stuff. We entered the area, and as sort of a surprise, it wasn't on the original itinerary. As a matter of fact, I have clips of the organizers that said, "Oh, wow, this wasn't supposed to happen," but it was good. It was a great addition to the trip.
Where he intends to show us the room.
That was,
but,
we start from the beginning.
I make a proposal. I said,
That was,
go inside.
That was very interesting, huh?
Yeah, and we trained their whole team.
Yeah.
We trained their whole
the whole plan.
Yeah, but we don't need a rigid instruction.
Yes.
We just play. We don't know that.
Hello. 新年快乐. The guy's name was Shi An Min. And Shi An Min greeted us outside of his studio. And he welcomed us in. Turns out that he's a local farmer. And he had started a TikTok channel. And he was trying to use this TikTok channel. What TikTok is like a social media platform here in China and all over the world. And he was trying to use this platform to inform people about the vegetables growing in his village and how he was proud of his village's growth with regards to these vegetables. Now, my Chinese is not perfect. He was speaking in, there was even people, as I tried to translate the video, that were having a little bit of trouble picking apart his speech. But I learned enough to know that I like this guy. I learned enough to know that he was doing a good job to his community. I didn't realize how important he was to the community until later. So I kind of have to thank the jerks who were assailing me to have me dig a little bit deeper, because I'm really glad that I did. I wish I would have known some of these things before, actually, because I would have been happy to speak about them. There's this argument that I'm trying to hide aspects of these videos when I do deal with somebody in the government. Because what happened was the gentleman that we met, that we danced with vegetables, that we had such a great time with, was and is a party secretary and is a village council member to the government in Hutzun. And that apparently was such a nefarious thing and such a hidden detail that I was hiding, or they were hiding from me as the organizers, that it blew the top off the whole conspiracy. That was bigger than Deep Throat. That was it. Watergate personified. Now, that's their truth. That because that guy I met was part of the party, part of the government of China, that it was suddenly bad. The whole reason that we were there was to cover up the fact that there's probably famine going on. There's probably people dying. This village is just spreading good stuff. There's not allowed to spread good stuff. You shouldn't be spreading good stuff. Hello. You know, that's bad stuff. You shouldn't be talking to people in the government. Now, there's a few things you need to know here. And we'll get into the life of this guy, actually, in a little bit, because it's really fascinating. And they seem to, and when I say they, I mean the people that are the critics to me, they seem to assail the nicest guys. The nicest guys and gals. But anyways, now, let me tell you a little bit about Chinese government. The CCP or CPC has like a pyramid style. You know, obviously you have Xi Jinping at the top, and then it just broadens as it goes down. And the fingers of the CCP get into every city, every village, every town, every community. They have representatives. And if you're conspiratorial, they're indoctrinating the people of China a way that they want. But in reality, they're carrying on the management of their community to the people above them. They're trying to solve as many problems as they can. Problems they can't solve, they pass up. There's bad ones, bad politicians, and there's good politicians. I hate this idea that the word politician is just wrong on its face. It's totally stupid, and it's been put there to get people frustrated and angry. That narrative is crazy. Corruption is what's bad. Politicians aren't inherently bad. In fact, we need them. They are trained to manage a community, to try to give back. They have connections to the people that they should have connections to the people that they manage, that they work above, because that's what they are. They're our employee. Every person above us, even Donald Trump, is our employee until a few more weeks. I didn't quite have a choice in hiring him, but unfortunately he is. But in China, the local villages, a village like Hutzun, has the opportunity to vote for their local representative. Let me tell you a little bit about Shi and Min, and you can go ahead and decide if this guy is bad or if this guy is good. Now, he was born in Gaoling, that area where we were at. He is a local, okay? He wasn't shipped in from Beijing. He isn't some high-ranking politician. He's a local farmer who grew wheat. And in 1994, he was elected to be the village council representative. Now, at this point in time, you could diverge, right? You could become a bad politician or a good politician, a bad village leader or a good village leader. What Shi and Min decided to do was try to improve his community. He was tasked with Hutzun and looking over that area, and as a farmer, he understood that the ground was arid. He had a lot of wheat harvests that didn't do very well. So he decided he was going to go and check out some other places that were doing good things. He was going to do a little investigation. So he took 3,000 RMB, 6 guys, and he took a ride out to Shandong. In Shandong, he studied, and he tried to figure out, how am I going to make the land in my community more fertile for growing, How am I going to make the people in my area more successful at what they want to do, which is agriculture? And so, by the way, all of this stuff is his bio. I checked it out. The people that castigate me stopped at the part that he was a party official, but they didn't look at his history. They just decided to ridicule a man for his title and not what he did under that title, which I think is bullshit and wrong, but I'm not surprised. Anyways, Shi Yanmin learned a bunch of stuff in Shandong. He learned how to do greenhouse farming, how you can transform land that would otherwise be arid, and using some techniques and even using environmentally friendly fertilizing techniques, you can cultivate land that would otherwise be difficult to cultivate. And he wanted to bring that home to his village that he was administering. He was the best of us in politics. He's what politics should be. In the face of learning all these things to improve his village, he came back to a bit of a tragedy. His wheat field has died. So he sold his tractor for 50,000 yuan, and he continued to try to work to improve his community, even in the face of his personal tragedy. So he collected the money from his sold tractor, and he went on a tour. He went to Gansu, Sichuan, Hunan, and Hubei. And what he was trying to do was buy the materials in order to start this massive project. Turns out that this guy was the reason that that place was so fertile. His idea was to build all of these greenhouses and make Hutsun the creme de la creme of vegetable growing villages. A shining star on a hill. And he was going to try to do it as much as he could himself. So he went off, and with the money from the sold tractor, he went all over and started buying steel cabling and tarps and all of these kind of things to build these greenhouses from the knowledge that he had learned on his trip to Shandong. Now, this is where it gets interesting. He had to get loans because 50,000 yuan was not enough to cover the cost of all the materials he was going to buy. He wanted to build thousands of these greenhouses. So he went to the local credit union asking for 200,000 yuan. And the local credit union said, no, this is too risky. This land is not going to produce as much vegetables as you say it is, or maybe it's just going to be a risky situation. It's up in the air whether it will. He bet himself on his confidence that he was able to turn his village of Hutsun around. So there's a quote, and I'm going to read it to you, that he said to the loan officer. He said, 以我个人的名义贷款，天的风险我承担. He basically said, don't worry, I'll take all the risks, and I'm going to take all the responsibility for the loan. He personally guaranteed a loan that he wanted materials for to turn the village around and provide successful opportunities to everybody in the village. Hello. Hello. 新年快乐. This guy, this is the reason everybody's saying that I was being propagandized to. Because the guy who was the inspiration for the village to turn itself around, to become better, the epitome of a good politician, talked to me, sang with me, made a video about how he loves his He wasn't taking me out to dinner to wine and dine me and smoke cigarettes and all sorts of corrupt stuff. He was literally doing what politicians are supposed to be doing. And the argument for me, now subsequently, that village has become very successful, notable all around the province and even in neighboring provinces of producing vegetables. The proof is in the pudding. But people were arguing to me and saying that because he didn't mention, or you didn't realize, that he was a party official, that you were being duped. And somehow that means that those vegetables were a lie and I was covering something up. Now, I see it the other way. This guy didn't introduce himself to me and say, "Hi, I'm a party official. Look at how great I am." No, he said, "Come on in. Look at what I'm doing to help my community. Look at this crazy place I've set up. Look at this channel I've made. This guy was born in 1955. When were your parents born? What are they doing? Maybe they're doing great things. I'm not trying to discount anybody. But I'm trying to say, give kudos to people that deserve kudos. This is exactly what government should be doing. If this guy was in America, and if this guy was doing what he was doing here in America, looking out to support his community, going the extra mile to personally guarantee loans, creating interesting ideas that challenge the concepts of what you do in your community so that people can band together and revolutionize the community. This is all good stuff. You would say that is the, holy moly, you got to meet this mayor. He's the best guy in town. Oh, you got to meet this person. Oh, Christine of Chongqing, she got approval to start up her own tourism agency in Chongqing because she loves Chongqing. And she's going to start raising awareness for our community, hopefully spreading the word about how great Chongqing is. Isn't that great? And then I meet her. I think she's great. And then we sit down and have a dinner, and she says to me, she says, yeah, you know, my blood, sweat, and tears went into this company. She didn't tell me that she had to get approval in connection with tourism authority because it wasn't important to her. To her, the important thing was that her passion was Chongqing. It was her baby, and she created it. That's it. This guy created and enhanced his village. Honestly, if I would have known that about Chongqing back in the day, I would have said it. I would have been even prouder to tell you, because she was able to leverage the connection with the government in order to push her idea forward and create this great Chongqing project. Just like this guy didn't introduce himself to me, I personally think it's humbling, not pompous. He introduced himself to me. He said, hey, check out the thing I'm doing. I'm traveling around. He even mentioned that he was in Shandong, and I'm actually, thank you for calling me out and thinking I'm such a horrible person or I'm a witless fool or whatever, because you know what? I wouldn't have realized how interesting this fellow was, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do a little digging into who he was. I just took it at face value that he liked the fact that his community was growing vegetables at a great rate, and he was proud of his community. All of those things were true. He's a farmer. He's promoting the vegetables in his community, and he's proud. And I was not informed. Apparently, I'm supposed to collect the ideas of everybody I deal with at every moment and vet people, because no matter how good or bad they are, it all depends on who they are and who they work for. You know, what's funny is there are so many people in China that are connected to the government. So many. You know, it's a different form of government to where you are if you're from somewhere else other than China. Every country has a different form of government. There's good people in government and there's bad people in government. I am on board with chastising the people who are not good, but I'm way more on board with highlighting the good stories and the good people that are doing good things. And I'm just so tired of these feckless arguments from people who do nothing but want to smear. And they want to do it to get clicks, they want to do it to get views, they want to do it to get people angry, they want to do it because it's the soup du jour. Listen, hating these days is really, really popular. I just don't want to get on board with it. I would rather love. I would rather look at the positive things. I looked at this guy and said he's doing a good thing. They looked at this guy, and without even doing the background, listen, if you want to really ridicule this guy, do the background. I did the background. He sounds like a pretty cool fella. I met him. He seems like a pretty cool fella. I saw the vegetables. I ate the vegetables. But for you guys to go and just chastise, it's so lame. It's so lazy. Coincidentally today, Donald Trump had a phone call with the Georgia governor. I'm drawing it back to my home country of America, where he called the Georgia governor and he asked the governor to find enough votes, just enough, to get him to rebuke the election and become president of the United States. He literally did the nefarious, horrible, disgusting thing that you would chastise any government for. If it happened in China, I chastise China. If it happened anywhere, I chastise it. You want to bitch about something corrupt? You want to talk about government gone wrong? It's in your backyard now. Go ahead. Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode. I am a little bit confused on how I'm going to continue. I'm running short on content because the Xi'an trip is coming to a close, and I'm waiting for some footage to come for that CCTV trip. But hang loose, chill out. I think I'm going to do a video about this topic in the future next few weeks of the channel. But if you want to join my Patreon, I've got that. I do audio podcasts there fairly regularly. You can hear about things that are going on currently. If you're ever in Ningbo, you should come to Dongqian Lake. It's beautiful. It's a bit chilly, a bit hazy today, but it's not always like this. Oftentimes it's a nice blue sky. This year's been quite nice. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe, share. Tell me what you think. Do you think that there might even be some positive people doing positive things in China? Just maybe.